Thank you all for joining me. It is your ordinary Jash here with Sarah Dorset and Orlean Batista, two great friends from college. This is my best friend. This is the Sarah I always tell you about, you know. And then Orlean's just a wonderful human being that we met in college, and we lived in the same dorm at one point, and it was just a great time. So yes, college friends here to discuss the things going on in the world. As all of you know, life has been crazy right now. There's a lot of injustices going on, and we are going to discuss that because it's not okay, never will be okay. And so we just want to let you know our thoughts and let you know that we are basically stepping up and speaking out for what we believe. So let's get started. Talk show.
It is, very much so.
So just to begin, I just want to ask everybody how they feel about this situation. How has your week been, like, dealing with all this?
So I think I feel distraught, which I think is fair, and I feel like I'm grieving, and I feel, I just feel really distraught, and it feels a little bit cloudy. Like, is this real life?
Yes.
You know? Is this real life? And a lot of it comes from the fact, not even that this horrible thing happened, of course, but like explaining to people that they should care.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part that's like, wow, that load, that burden I think on my heart is like, wow, you really got to explain this to some people, you know.
Yeah, and explain deep, because they just only see the one event. Like, no, shorty.
Yeah,
right.
It's not just one thing. Yeah,
It's been going on.
Yeah, how do you feel?
Yeah, I think that definitely just sad and kind of, I mean, as a Christian, still having hope in the world, but like hopeless that this is still a thing. Like, it's 2020 and this is still a thing, and that some people just don't understand that it's still a problem. And so that's just been really discouraging, to think that this is still real and that people don't understand that it's real, or to the extent of how real and how deep it hurts people. And then honestly just like fear for like my loved ones and like friends of color, and then anyone that was like downtown and everywhere where there's like protests going on, just like fear for people, because you never know what is going to happen and where it's going to end up. So that's been really tough too this week, just knowing that like anything could go down.
Yeah. And then for me, it's been freaking matic. Oh my gosh. I'm just gonna be upfront because this is about to be super raw and uncut, so I'm gonna just let you know the truth, okay? I've never turned to drinking for anything in my life, but after 2 nights of literally not getting any sleep at all, I had a couple of beers, okay? I threw back a couple of cold ones because literally I was just so afraid, and like I could not stop thinking about it, like everywhere I turned. And it's like sometimes when you're like in that situation, or basically when you're black, it's like you either shut it out, you know what I'm saying, because you don't want to deal with the pain of this whole thing, or you deal with all of it. And this time I'm like, I can't be quiet. I can't, like, you know what I'm saying, I can't not say anything. So it's just been like earth shattering to like realize that this is still going on. Realize that like you're looked at like I told you, like a bug to squish, and like no one, like people don't care. Like, they literally do not care. And it's like, you want to be heard, but like people are literally closing their ears. But y'all gonna hear me. Listen.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard a lot of people saying that, like people of color and white people. They were just saying, like what you said, like this time I just can't keep it in, I can't be quiet. And I've heard that a lot, like that this time it just hits different. Like I've heard that from so many people, that this time, like, this injustice is just different. And I think that it's just because it's just been going on for way too long. Like you said, like it's just gonna build up, and you can't keep it in anymore.
Yeah. No, and definitely, and I also feel like you said, it is something that hits differently. It's like, you know, everyone is speaking out that you didn't expect would speak out.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
if you have spoken out before, you're like speaking out even more.
Right.
And that's how I feel. I'm like, last night I was just like, I don't care about posting too much.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why in the past have we literally cared about,
Right.
oh, I don't want to post too much. I don't want to step on people's toes.
Yeah.
I don't want to, like, I just don't want people to just have to see this. And, oh, but is it going to be too much negativity? You know what?
Yeah.
It is negative.
Right.
It's negative. It's hella negative.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's okay to, like, post up and let people know it's not okay. We don't have the privilege to just be like, I'm out and I'm out of the conversation and I'm not gonna do anything or say anything.
And I think that's wise because like we don't have that privilege like to just be like I'm out, so I might as well be all in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like because if we like it's just like bro at this point bro we mad like I'm not like, I'm sad of course and I'm hurt but I'm angry like I'm mad and like. It's just like you have to hear me. Like I'm going to make you. Like if we gonna hurt, you're gonna have to hurt. I'm tired of it. We're tired of it. Like it's just not fair. And it's like why can't? Because what's not fair about it is just the simple fact that like we literally just can't go about our business and live our lives. Like y'all calling police just because we in the park trying to have a good day. Y'all calling the police because I'm sitting in my, like, literal house, like, just eating, like, enjoying my evening.
Right.
Like, that's just too much. Because now and everybody's so worried about their freedoms being taken away with coronavirus.
Yep.
Bro, like, y'all are literally invading our lives and just tearing it apart and killing us.
Yeah.
For what reason?
Right.
Like, at least there's a reason with COVID. You don't want to get sick and die and spread this crap.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with, like, me just living my life.
Right.
And it's just, like, you're trying to take that from me and I don't understand. I don't know.
I feel like that is so sad to me, and I would hope that it would make other white people sad to hear that, because I know when I get pulled over for like I don't even know a speeding ticket or anything, I don't sit there and like fear for my life, and I probably never will. Never have to fear for my life. I'm never gonna go to bed and worry about the cops breaking into my house and shooting me while I'm asleep. Like I just know that that's not something that I have to worry about, and I've never worried about that in my life. And so just to know that that's how people live their everyday life when they should just live their life however they want to live it. I mean, like law abiding and all that, but you know what I'm saying, like they should be able to go to the store, they should be able to go to the park, they should be able to drive their car
and feel safe
and know they're gonna come
comfortable.
home at the end of the day. Like they should be allowed to do that.
And the crazy part, I was just telling somebody this other day, it's like this is why it's so crazy, is because like it's like you're in one of those movies where like people, like the one person or like the main character goes somewhere and like they're trying to like get help for something, and literally everyone in the movie is against him. And it's like that's how it is when you're like literally trying to go, like not even trying to go to the police, but the police are here to serve and protect you, and they're not going to do that. They're going to do the exact opposite. Like that's crazy. Like you have a target from the person that's supposed to protect you and your family and your loved ones, and like that's an anxiety that I literally cannot even explain. Like it's insanity. It's kept me up all week. I know that.
I think that's part of grieving too. Like I think you don't sleep, you don't want to eat. I haven't had an appetite, because if this doesn't honestly make you sick to the point where you just don't have an appetite, that you're so sick, like that's how you should feel, you know? That is the level of concern that you should have about the situation, about the way that people, because of the color of their skin, are treated. Like that's the level of concern you should have, where it makes you physically sick, that you shouldn't have the ability to sleep and to eat, like, and go about your day like no big deal, and have your little picnic outside and take your little Instagram selfies. Like, come on, wake up, look at what is going on. Like that needs to be your level of concern.
Right. Like I don't know if this is insensitive, I hope not, but it changes your lives every single day, and so we shouldn't choose to just not let it change our lives. Like you guys have to deal with it, and people of color have to deal with this because it happens to them every single day. And so when we see an injustice, especially as a Christian, when you see an injustice, you shouldn't not let it, or you shouldn't let it not change your life. You should be sick, like Arlene said. You should not sleep, like Jay Strauss said. You should just be supporting people and be out there and be doing things, instead of like, oh, I need a mental break. I need to get off Facebook for the day. Like, yeah, you need to protect your mental health and stay healthy, but it also should make you uncomfortable. It should make you sick. It should make you hurt and just feel the way that you're supposed to feel as a Christian. Like, you should be hurt. Jesus is hurt. Jesus hurts for what all these people are hurting for, so you should feel hurt too, and you shouldn't just feel like you need a break and you need to get away from this. It's too much. It's too hard for you to handle. I mean,
and that's the part. It's not like literally don't sleep. It's not literally don't eat, but it's like you should be uncomfortable.
Yeah, you
shouldn't go about like like nothing has happened, la. Like no.
There's a lot happening.
Pay
There's
attention,
no way you don't see
pay
it.
attention, and just read the room of the situation that's going on before you go about your day like business as usual.
Yeah.
Literally. And it's biblical. Like, I've been sharing this, like, scripture with Sarah for the longest, and I'm gonna go get my Bible, because I haven't done scripture of the day for a while, so I'm gonna do it today, because it's literally biblical. Like, God calls you to speak up for those in danger, and if you see them in danger, and you know they're in danger, and there's something that you can do, God calls you to do that. Let me show you how. Scripture of the day comes from Proverbs 24:10. Saying, if you falter in a time of trouble, how small is your strength? Rescue those being led away to death. Hold back those staggering towards slaughter. If you say, but we knew nothing about this, does not he who weighs the heart perceive it? Does not he who guards life know it? Will he not repay everyone according to what they have done? So it literally says there to like help lead those away from slaughter.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just up to you and what you want to do. But that's between you and the Lord, whatever. So speaking of like those standing up and everything, so politically, like what do you think needs to be done in regards to like, you know, all this stuff going on?
So I think one of the main things just right now, like what immediately needs to happen, I don't think, because laws and things like that can't change like from one day to the next, but I think immediately what I would like to see politically is the leaders of our nation, including our president, needs to speak out, and all the leaders need to speak out about this and need to say together in one accord, this is wrong, we hear you, we see you, we're going to do something about it, we're going to act on it. That's what I think needs to happen as like an immediate thing, because that's what the outrage is. You know, we need to know that we are being heard, we are being seen, okay?
Yeah, that's 100% true. Like you said, like, we want these things from the government, but from, I mean, all of history, the people have generally, like, evoked whatever happens with the government. So, like, the protests and the support and the petitions and all of those things, like, do your research. We're not going to tell you where to send your money. We're not going to tell you organizations to go to. But do your research. Look up places that are doing really good things and petitions that are legit, that are going to governors and senators. Go and just do your research. Educate yourself. Read books. Read articles. Do all the things necessary so that you can be empowered in this movement. And then ultimately, all the people, like Orlean was saying, are the ones that are just going to have to give a big enough push so that the government feels like they are going to do something. They have to do something. Yeah.
Well, I don't think I even need to answer that one. But yeah, honestly, just keep pushing and just stay on it. Like, we can't let up, because that's the issue. We need everybody to keep pushing, because we have a president in the office right now that's calling us thugs for wanting to, you know, for wanting justice for something that's clearly wrong. But when people want haircuts and, you know, want their nails done, they're fine people.
Job protest.
It's one of the, and they were actually armed. That's the crazy part. Sugar, please. And so, like, that's why I say just keep pushing, keep pressing, and just don't let up. They covered everything else, but just, we can't let up.
Yeah.
So now, on to, like, the protests and riots and things like that. Do you think that the riots are effective, and, like, in what way, or do you just think that it shouldn't be happening?
Well, Orlean was there, so she can talk a little bit about it. But from what I heard, the protests were peaceful from people that were there, like first-person encounters, and then, like, police started things while it was peaceful, or some people said the protesters threw water bottles, whatever. I don't know. I wasn't there, so Orlean will talk more about that. But I 100% think protests are great. Obviously, you're standing up for something that's important to you. And I think that the riots, the people that don't want to support you throughout a protest or a riot are going to be the ones that only talk negatively about the riots.
Exactly.
So I think that the riots definitely get people's attention. Am I saying destruction's bad? Am I saying that burning things is bad and all of, or good? Am I saying that any of that's good? No, like I'm not gonna go burn something or trash a car, but they're doing it because these people group have been unheard for so long and nothing's ever been done. It continues to happen. So if you stop listening to somebody for years and years and years, they're gonna have to do something to get your attention. And I was reading on Facebook, and it was like just this white mom, and she was like, you know what, in response to like the riots and stuff, she's like, when my child doesn't listen to me 5 times, I scream at them. And she's like, that's not mature, but like I do it. And when my husband doesn't listen to me after 3 times of me talking to him, I throw my phone. Like, I'm gonna get their attention because I need their attention. I need them to react to what I'm saying. And so, yeah, great. If they, like, if protesting peacefully and walking up and down a street with signs would get people's attention and make a change, then that's what they would do. But I know people have seen it everywhere. Taking a knee, everyone have problems with that still. So it doesn't matter what people of color do to get your attention. If they're not abiding by what the privileged people want them to do, they're always going to ignore it.
And and just touching on that, I am beyond done with people trying to tell us how to react to the situation. Like, first of all, of course, you don't know what the heck we're going through at all. You could never, because it's like, honestly, sorry, and also my bunny's running around right now, so you might hear that. Sounds like thunder. But yeah, like, this is like generational trauma, like generational, and you're trying to tell me how to deal with it when you have never, ever felt any sort of thing like this ever in your entire life. Like, do not sit here and say, I just wish people, it doesn't even take all of this. It don't take all that to get a haircut either. But you were still there with your AK-47s and your rifles. So, like, that's just the thing that I can't stand.
My personal issue with talking so much about the riots versus, like, what it actually starts out with, which is peaceful protest, and then from personally being at the protest and then seeing how police officers will incite, like, people to be uncomfortable, will instigate, will do things almost in a way to have the protesters act out so that they can use more force, which is really kind of toxic and traumatic to experience in person. So just before you say something, like, if you want to talk bad about it, like, actually go, show up, and then see what happens, and then you tell me what your experience is, and if you get tear gassed, and then we'll talk about it. But my problem too is that you can't focus so much when there's a situation like this on only condemning the riots. So when you only post about condemning that the riots are happening, but you're not condoning the movement, and you're not supporting the movement, and you're not commending the movement, and all you're doing is only posting about how you feel about how negative the riots are, then you're the problem, because you don't care. You don't care about what's actually behind those, when there is looting, when there is rioting. And also, it's unfair to act like the protests are only rioting.
Right.
And the protests are only looting and breaking windows and lighting fires.
Yeah.
Also unfair to act like it's only black people that are out there doing these chaotic things, and acting like it's part of the movement. When a lot of times what is happening is that there are black activists that are putting together and organizing, and not even just black activists, but there are actually white people that are helping to put together these peaceful protests, and then they get overturned, they get overruled, and they get turned into these like riots because of some outside source, a third party. And then it's unfortunate that you're blaming the same people that are like there to fight peacefully for their own lives.
Right.
And it's not on these activists. Like, they're not doing this. They're not telling people, hey, come. I have seen all the invitations for protests, and I have not seen ones where they're like, we're going to riot, we're going to loot, and we're going to break windows. They all say, wear a mask. Please don't be violent. Don't act violent.
Exactly.
You know, like that's what they're saying. And all of these invites to the protest on Facebook, you can go and you can see in your city and look at the invitations, and they're all like, this is peaceful, all caps, this is peaceful. And then somehow third-party sources, I'm not going to, there's a lot of speculations of what it could be. I have seen stuff about, you know, it could be white supremacists, it's the cops, is this. I have seen videos, not just heard, but seen videos,
actual footage
of people doing it, where, or even white people that think they're there as an ally, and then they're doing that. You're not being an ally, stop. Like, don't start that, don't do that.
You guys that are together.
Watch it.
Black Lives Matter. I'm seeing more people
Just shove 'em.
into this restaurant.
Look at these guys, CJ. Go back. Look at this guy. Look at this guy pushing and watching. And he's in his with
Oh
a
yeah,
group.
he's a thug.
He's totally pushing people.
We're watching these protesters, though. I mean,
Watch that guy in the yellow.
starting to even
And his
as they
friends,
shout Black
his white
Lives
friends,
Matter,
and then they all
I'm seeing
take
more
off.
People hurl bricks into this restaurant. I mean,
Look at that
there's
fucker.
all this stuff. I mean,
Look at that guy.
and they're still
Pushing.
I mean,
Now he's gonna take off. He and his buddy.
And I don't agree with the violence, but you cannot only condone, because then you're not being an ally. You can't, I'm sorry, you can't only condemn, because then you're not being an ally.
Right.
You can't just say this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, but you're not at all saying anything about what started this.
Exactly.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
And you're part of the problem
Yeah.
if you do that.
Yeah.
Just so you know. So stop before you do the share. And before you say, oh, you guys had the platform, we were going to listen to you, but now you ruined it. It's not ruined. It's actually just starting, and it's actually getting bigger. So you need to stop. And you need to stop saying that, because you're just trying to break the hope, and you're trying to break the momentum by posting that. So you're not being an ally by posting that. You never were listening, and you never cared from the beginning. Get off your high horse and stop doing that.
Yeah.
You don't have a right.
Yeah, and I think that also, like, I feel like people are like, I just wish that they would protest peacefully, just so you can forget about it all over again.
So
and we're not doing that.
So you
again.
don't see it.
So you don't see it. So you can scroll
you're not
past
bothered.
it. No, baby, you're not going to Target this week. You know why? Because it's burned down. We're not doing this. We're not about to let you keep scrolling, bro. It's not going down like that.
You're gonna see it.
You're gonna hear it, and you're gonna feel it.
Yeah, and I've been seeing a lot of people post that they've been getting a lot of hate for thinking that killing an innocent person is wrong, but then they also think that like looting and burning buildings and breaking everything is wrong too. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that you can't think both things are wrong and injustice, whatever. You can think both things are wrong, but like Orlean was saying, when you only condemn one and then don't talk about the other at all, that's where you're wrong. When you're only posting about how you believe that it's so wrong to set things on fire and just
You're
do all of
missing
those
the
things.
point.
Exactly.
You're missing the point.
Exactly.
at all.
You
You're
care about the
missing it.
reaction and not the action that caused all this entire group of people to be hurt and not heard or seen. So when you only post about the one and don't care about the other, then that's where your problem is.
And I want to say one more thing. Because I had this one. So a lot of people are saying, you know, when we respond to them like that, saying, you know, you can't just say this is wrong. This is the reasoning why this is happening. You know, just a little 400 plus years of oppression, no biggie. When you're telling them that, they're like, but there's no excuse, and you can't just excuse it, and blah, 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 blah.
Baby.
Because you give a reasoning for something happening doesn't mean you're excusing the action. But what you're actually doing is using that you're saying is wrong as an excuse to not support.
The other thing, yeah.
That's what you're doing. So we're not doing the excuse by giving you a reasoning behind it. You're the one with the excuse, honey.
Yeah.
Trying
and
to
the
say,
justification.
and you're trying to excuse why you're not going to support.
When they
When you
weren't
weren't
going
going
to
to in the first place. Shoot.
Again, that's what I meant by
You're never
justification.
going
You're
to.
justifying
Yeah.
not only what they did,
Yeah.
but you're justifying you not speaking up. I just
Right.
can't be a part of this.
Right.
All right.
Yep, okay.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So, so we already know, like that you've been to the protests and everything. So if you have any, like, experience that you want to share with that, that'd be solid.
Yes. So I went the first night of the protest here in Columbus, Ohio, and I was so frustrated, okay? The police continued, you know, okay, people were actually like marching for at least 2 hours before I had gotten there, and then they had gathered at the corner of South or High Street and Broad, and everybody was there, you know, protesting, nothing violent, and the police wanted to clear, supposedly, the reason why they used force was because they wanted to clear the roads, they wanted to clear the streets. But I just want to explain to people, when you're hearing these things, if you're on the sidewalk, they're still trying to clear you. I had a police officer come up to me and be aggressive towards me to get out of the sidewalk, and a bunch of other people that were there. So it's like, where are you supposed to, you're supposed to levitate? Like, where are you supposed to stand to, like, protest? Because they didn't want you in the street. They don't want you in the grass. They don't want you on the sidewalk. They don't want you anywhere. And they're using force and they're instigating. And then once protesters get hyped,
Right.
because you're like, you know, what the heck? And then they feel like they have a reason to use force.
Ugh.
And that's what I have seen. Now, I only have 2 eyeballs. So I'm not sitting here to say, what I saw is everything. I'm not God. I can't see everything that was going on. I'm saying this is what I have seen, and these are the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of experiences, thousands of experiences of a lot of other protesters as well. And then I went yesterday, and I was there like an hour and a half before they called a state of emergency. I was actually there when they were announcing it over the speakers, trying to be all big, bad, and scary. And there was no violence. And the way that people in the rest of Columbus, like, were fearing what was going on, I kept seeing all the posts like, oh my gosh, don't go to downtown. I'm getting a thing that it's, you know, and that's what they want. They want us to stop. They want us to just go away. And unfortunately, racism doesn't just go away, and discrimination and oppression doesn't just go away. They want to incite panic, and so people think, oh my God, the protesters are out there, like, they must be going crazy. They're probably, like, rampant, like just ravaging and just being crazy downtown. It was 12. Like, it was noon.
It was
not even one. It was broad daylight. I was there. I'm not a person that would ever loot. I would never break windows. I would never start a fire. Yeah. There was nothing of that going on. People were literally standing with their signs and chanting. And interestingly enough, every time the chantings, like people chanting would get louder and louder, they would add more and more force. They're just bothered. They're really just bothered. So the louder you get, the more force the more they push back. It's not about people being crazy and being violent. Right. They're just fed up. Well, we're more fed up. And the other thing, too, that the worst thing that I saw from my both experiences at the protest, the worst thing I saw was people on the sidewalk being trampled. Here comes 6 policemen on horses, trampling people on the sidewalk. So you're not allowed, they didn't want you to be on the sidewalk. I witnessed with my eyes them trample people on the sidewalk and drop tear gas.
While you guys were on the sidewalk and not in the road.
While you were on the sidewalk and not in the road. Tell me how that's okay.
The timeline correct. Was this before the National Guard was there?
That's before.
Okay, so it was just like Columbus
this
PD.
Is before. Yeah, before they had even like that happened like at least 20 minutes before they announced a state of emergency. The only state of emergency.
That's crazy.
Was them.
You know what? And you know what? That's crazy because they did that before that because they probably thought like, oh, since we're dropping this tear gas, they're probably about to get crazy. So like, let's just go ahead and do this so we can turn up with them. That's because it's oh my gosh. Wow, that's crazy.
It was so sad to me. I'm like, and there were kids there, you know, and don't tell people that they're bad parents for taking,
not at all,
for taking their kids, okay? Because I'm sorry, at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, in broad daylight,
at a peaceful protest,
I'm not expecting for stuff to go down with my 6-year-old, 7-year-old kid that I just want them to be aware. I saw white parents bringing their white children to witness history. And they wanted them to see that. And I saw something today, it made me so mad, calling them bad parents. I'm sorry. No person should expect that they're going to go to a peaceful protest and that the police are going to react in that way when nobody else was being violent. Everybody was peacefully protesting, and
Exactly.
the police were being violent. You know, so
And it's so crazy because
Don't
like
call
when there was a
people that.
KKK rally downtown and in downtown Dayton last year, bro, when I tell you they did everything on God's green earth to protect that one KKK member that actually showed up after they did all this ravaging about what's going on, bro. Like the police department literally put up barricade on top of barricade on top of barricade for the KKK.
one person.
Literally. And now we're just trying to speak up on something that actually matters, you know. But it's like, it's crazy. Like, it's just the world. And that's what hurts. It's like when you're literally speaking up for something like good, you know, and not perpetuating the hate that this country has been built on, then you get tear gassed. Then you, again, like, this happened 40 years ago. I don't know how many years ago it was. You know, not about to do math. But, like, but then when you are just perpetuating this craziness, it's like y'all want us to do this. It's so weird. Like, and that's what makes me fear. Of course, like, we are in the last and evil days. But, bro, I swear, like, is this, or are y'all trying to start a race war?
Right.
Like, is that what this is? I'm not saying that I'm down for whatever. Like, I don't want that to happen by any means. But, like, is that what this is?
We can't, like, make our brothers and sisters that are black, we can't make them feel this frustration of this feeling stuck.
Yeah.
You know, that's not fair. It's gone on for too long. It's not fair. And this is like a human being issue. And if we're all human, like, living, breathing human beings, we all need to care.
Right.
We all need to do that.
It's just disgusting that, like I was telling somebody at work, like I already said, like, the whole, like, bug to squish thing, like, that's just literally how I view racism. Like, you're looking at me like I just need to get out of here, like, I need to get out of your way and do all this stuff. It's so sad to, like, be viewed, and that's another, I keep on talking about what hurts, but that's what's fueling this entire thing, is the pain that's behind all this. Because, like, I bleed the same as you, I breathe the same as you, I see what you see, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I get dressed every day like you. And it's just, like, the fact that you're not seen as just, like, a living, breathing organism, like, but something completely different, whether that's ghetto, whether that's ratchet, whether that's hood, like, that's just insane.
Yeah.
Like, you, and it's sad that that's the first thing you see. And it's I'm not even showing you that, but that's the first thing you see about me, is that I'm ghetto, I'm hood, I have to be ratchet, I have to have an attitude because of the color of my skin. Like, why can't I just don't understand why you can't see somebody as a human, as a soul. Like, I just don't get that. It sucks. It sucks. And it's like, this is trauma, like, legit trauma. Like, and you expect this not to happen? And you still want things to be peaceful? When is it going to be peaceful? When is it our turn? Like, and people always talk about how, like, oh, I want to go back to the 50s because it was just such a great time. Oh, I want to go back. Right. I want to go back to the 1800s because it was such a great time. No, I think about that all the time because I watch, like, older shows or something like that. I'm like, oh, that's so great.
But then you
never mind. I would have been a
remember.
slave. Like, never mind. I would have been lynched. Never mind. But it's the same thing today. That's crazy. Like, it's never been a good time for black people. It's never been just, I mean, honestly, this is, sadly, this is the best time for black people. We're honestly, I mean, for being oppressed, we're doing amazing. Black entrepreneurs, we freaking see you. Keep going. You know what I'm saying? Oh, thank you. Yes, period. And, like, black preachers, black speakers, black, you know what I'm saying, doctors, lawyers, we see you. You're definitely being recognized, and it's crazy that this is, like, still happening, and this is the best we can do for our people. That's buck wild to me. So that's just
wild. You know what, and we can just have a conversation, but today, like, I don't know what it is that just hit me. Like, I just started sobbing, thinking about how it's so unfair. I'm like, why can, like, black people literally don't feel safe to say to a police officer, why are you detaining me? Why are you pulling me over? Why are you asking me that question? Just living in fear of, if I don't comply, it could end like this. And I don't think that, and I'm, you know, Latina, and I know that, you know, Latino people deal with our own injustices, but I just think even more deeply, like, I just got overwhelmed by that thought that you literally feel like you can't even ask a question about your life and about your rights.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, hey, why did you pull me over if you don't feel like it's just?
Right.
You have to comply.
And what I call it is comply or die.
Yeah,
And it's pretty darn
that hurts. Like, that hurts. Like,
Yeah.
why are we like, oh, that's okay, let's live our lives that way? No.
Yeah.
No, everybody should have the right to ask that.
It's
like,
crazy.
Everybody does.
I actually have a story about that because, like, it was really 100% the Lord's protection over me and my brother. And I'm going to try my best not to cry because that's my boy. But, we got pulled over in Dayton one day. And it's crazy because I seen the cop behind me. So there was no way that I was about to do anything wrong. So he pulled me over for a rolling stop. And my brother's in the passenger seat. And, like, he's like, okay, so I pulled you over. And mind you, he has another cop with him. So I'm like, okay, this is clearly some shady crap right here. Like, why do you need to be two of y'all to do some pullover, whatevers? And so, like, it was fine. Everything was fine. But then, like, he was, asking me questions like, where you going? Like, where you headed? Boom, boom, all that extra stuff. And then, like, he looks at my brother like, can I have your social security number? And I'm like, so I was finna take off, right? I was finna like, excuse me, what are you asking for that for? Like, first of all, he is a passenger in his car. Like, why?
Right.
You don't even need to talk to him. He didn't roll through the stop sign. Why are you talking to him? And then my brother just spit it out, like, just spit out his social security number. So I was like, you better be glad you freaking did that. Because I lit him on fire. And my heart was just beating out of my chest because when he asked him that question, I'm like, oh, shoot, this is real. Like, this might be it.
You're in it.
Yeah, like, I'm in this right now. And the white lady tried to talk to me yesterday. Well, I like her. She's cool. And, and she was like, just like, I don't understand. Just like, you're not going to be shot. Like, you're not going to be killed by cops. It's just like, basically trying to tell me to calm down. Girl, you don't know that.
You don't know that.
You do not know that. And that's the issue. And that's where the anxiety comes from. But yeah, so like, just asking me questions and I can't ask you, why are you asking me for that? Why are you asking my brother for that? And like, it's wild. I think I still have the video, so if I do, I'll insert it right here.
Alright, here you go.
Okay.
Have a great day. I'll keep my lights on so you can get out. I mean, there's no traffic now, but just make sure you come to a complete stop. That'll be it.
Hey, sir.
Yeah.
I just had a curious question.
Uh-huh.
What did you need my social for?
I run everybody's in the car.
Oh, okay, that's all right.
That's all. I mean, it's just so I know who's in the car.
Okay, that's cool, man.
Yep.
All right.
Have a great day.
You too. Thank you. But yeah.
I feel like that is where people don't understand. Like, that's where the 400 years of forced silence comes from. Like, they think, well, why don't you ask that? Why don't you speak up? And you guys have already expressed that you don't feel comfortable that you can do that. And they're like, well, why don't you? Maybe it's because you made them silent for 400 years, and then you expect the last 50 or 60 to give them enough power so that they feel comfortable to do that. That's not how trauma works. That's not how oppression works. You've silenced a people group for hundreds of years, and then you want them to just feel okay now in their own skin, living in the same world that has hardly changed, and you want them to be different. That's not how it works.
But
It's not Corona.
has anybody heard any like crazy things from like friends or family, or seen any crazy like posts or anything like that from friends or family on the socials and media, or you got any messages?
A lot of white Christians that will be the first one to post about anti-abortion rallies and protests at Planned Parenthood, or freedom of religion, and how having a stay-at-home order that keeps you from going to church violates your rights, even though it's literally to protect you. And so I'll see them post first thing about all of that stuff, and then they're so silent when it comes to the killing of innocent people, when you're literally a Christian and everyone is the same, or supposed to be the same in God's eyes and in your eyes. So I was a little sad when I didn't see certain posts from people, and I don't know if they're trying to figure out what type of person they're going to be or what they're going to say. So if they are, I just hope that they decide, like you said, like that they're going to be part of this movement, because if you do say that you're a Christian, you can't stay silent on this stuff. You just really can't.
Even if you say like, this is wrong, Black people, I see you, I hear you, and I love you, that can be it. Like, just just you need to speak up. It needs to happen.
Yeah. Just say
Yeah.
something.
What's so hard about saying Black Lives Matter?
Like,
Right.
3 words.
And if you have like situations like that where you might have family that, it's a little iffy, maybe just ask them, hey, say 3 words. Black Lives Matter. Can you say that? If you can't, what's wrong with you that you can't say that?
Ooh. I know it's not all lives matter. Like, like no. The only thing the issue that I have with that freaking movement is like that's what we're trying to get you to realize is that all lives matter.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if sometimes I'm like, okay, maybe we wouldn't have any backlash if we just put like 2 on the end. You know, like Black Lives Matter 2. Like maybe we wouldn't have too much backlash. But like regardless of what, like yes, all lives matter. But that's the goal. Is we're trying to get that into your brain. Like, we matter too. This skin, this life matters as well.
Yeah, so while I've seen some people post, like, really great things, and, like, I mentioned people that shocked me when they post their support and stuff, which is awesome, I was also talking to Jay Sherrill about just some crazy, crazy things that either I've seen, like, people post or comment and then quickly unfriend, or like people have shared it and I've seen it, but I like wrote some of it down because it was just too crazy for me, but just some of the things that I've heard. And so these are all quotes from people, and this first one, which is just should really, really upset you, and if it doesn't, then again you're part of the problem, but it was, well, he must have done something to get put on the ground in the first place. Yeah, what he did was not being white. That's literally the only thing that he did. So don't even try to say that. Don't say that. The media needs to stop giving them the attention. And this was a comment underneath a peaceful protest. There were no riots, there were no looting, and they said they need to stop giving them the attention. Okay. Time to call in the military, which we're halfway there. If they would just ... I've seen that on so many things. If they would just do this, if they would just...
How about y'all would just
do this?
stop?
Right, if we would just listen, if we would just see them, hear them, acknowledge them, then they wouldn't have to do all of it. Like, they're trying to get your attention and your support and your love. Things will never change if they continue to act like this. Everyone just needs to take a vacation.
Wow.
This is real stuff from real people.
If they need to put like examples of white, like under the dictionary for white privilege, they should just put that comment.
Like using a sentence.
Everybody needs
Everyone
to
needs to take a
just
vacation.
take a vacation.
People
Take a vacation from our skin.
Yeah. Like, it's crazy because everywhere we go in the world too, that's the standard because of you. So if we take a vacation, we'll still see the same thing wherever we go. So good job,
Latinos
America.
have racism. There's racism all over.
Go to Europe, there's racism. Go to Asia, racism. Go to Africa, racism. It's crazy.
This other one said people wouldn't be racist if they didn't set stuff on fire.
People.
I'm sorry.
Oh no. Oh,
I'm
no.
sorry.
Oh no.
Y'all set a church on fire with 4 minor black girls in them and nobody said a thing. You bro. Oh, Jesus, help me today. Y'all literally had 15 minutes given to you by the entire state when freedom riders tried to come and protest peacefully. There was 15 minutes given to you to burn, kill, maim, and shoot all the freedom riders. So, okay. But that's gonna kill racism if we just don't burn anything. If we just don't burn anything.
Yeah.
And when y'all bombed and burned Black Wall Street.
And when you just sent nuclear bombs into a whole other country.
Where you kill villages of women and children, and that's okay.
That's perfectly fine. That is so okay. Let's not even bring that up because it's
we're not mad.
We're not mad. Just go ahead.
Just go ahead.
It's crazy.
And a lot of those comments, like we've mentioned, definitely are from people of white privilege. And me and Jason and I were talking, and I also talked to other friends about this topic, and we were just talking about how some white people get offended by that because they think my life has not been easy. You know, like, I've been poor, I've done this, or I've struggled with this. That's not what white privilege is. And if you really think that that's what white privilege is, then I encourage you to please educate yourself. Yeah, educate yourself truly and learn what white privilege is so that you know how you benefit from white privilege and how you can use your white privilege to help other people. Because white privilege isn't saying you don't have struggles. You haven't had a difficult life. I'm sure that you've struggled with a lot of stuff. White privilege is saying that the color of your skin has never been a struggle for you. It has never caused struggles for you in your life, and that you've probably benefited from, from your color of your skin. So white privilege, know how you have it and know how to use it.
And here's the thing. Y'all love to use your white privilege on all your white privilege platforms to promote black culture. So why don't you just do it for Black lives? Like, y'all love that. Y'all love our music. Y'all love our hairstyles. Y'all love the way we speak. But it's just not our lives that y'all want to love. And that's just buck wild. Y'all want everything about us but us.
Wow.
Yep.
That's crazy. Ugh. So, yeah.
So, educate yourself. And Google in your area, like Orlean was saying, your cop, the numbers to call, the places that you can donate, the petitions that you can sign, and if you feel comfortable, the protests you can attend. They're happening all over. All over, not even in just the U.S. They're happening all over the world. And so protests that you feel comfortable joining, but don't let your uneducated self be a reason for not being involved. Educate yourself, do something about it that you can do. And whether you're a person of color or you're white, learn what you can do and help it, because 2020, this can't be happening. Barack Obama, this can't be happening anymore. Because we're going to quote him instead of our current president. But just do something. Don't make anything an excuse for not supporting a movement like this.
Yeah.
There's no excuse to dehumanize another person.
No excuse.
And also, like, don't get overwhelmed by how big a problem may seem. Don't let that make you stop and shut down. You need to start, you need to speak up, and you need to defend. And that's your start, you know? Just begin.
Yeah. And like we said, you ain't gotta, even if it ain't a long post or whatever, Black Lives Matter. There's what you need to say. If you didn't know what to say before, there it is.
Yep.
Period. Anybody else got any closing? I think that was our closing remarks.
Yeah,
That was our closing remarks.
All right. So it has been a pleasure having both of these beautiful lives with me today. This was literally such a treasure time. So we spoke facts. We hope you heard us. We hope you've seen us. This is your Ordinary JaSh signing off with another video. Please tune in. And share, comment, like, subscribe. Get this out there. It needs to be heard. We just want to be heard. So Black Lives Matter, and ultimately all lives matter. But that's the goal.
Right.
So tune in again when I post again, all that good stuff. And shout out to one of my followers, Josh. I see you, bud. Follow him on Twitch at Master Elite with the E as a 3 and the I as a 1. Follow him on Twitch, people. You heard it. I'll put it down in the description below. Have a great evening. Stay blessed. Go protest.
That's pretty good.
It was.
Way to go.
Love ya. See you later.
See ya.